Welcome back to work. This is Net. This is where we get into a topic in the headlines and have a conversation with it. It's kind of like me having a conversation with myself right now, but sometimes Suhan will join me in this. So the topic I wanted to cover is job hugging. So job hugging, if you listened to this podcast a year ago or 2 years ago or really probably a year ago, it was all about quiet quitting, which we've talked about was like a big f you to your company where you're going to mail it in and you're going to do the least possible and you are going to have a huge chip on your shoulder and you're going to tiptoe up to the exact line of basically giving it to your boss, but doing just shy of that so that you can still get your paycheck. But you have all of the hate and resentment and animosity towards your workplace, towards your manager, towards all of that. And, the net of quiet quitting was this mentality of do the very least possible, do the bare minimum. Don't do a bit more because you'll never get more out of it. And I think one of the things that's happening, which I think is part of the biggest misunderstanding in the generations and one of the biggest parts of the Gen Z stereotype is that Gen Z isn't seeing the gains and the possibility and the career growth and the potential that generations before them saw. So there is a natural kind of disillusionment with work, right? So every generation kind of carries a little bit the sins of the generations before. And in Gen Z's case is they don't love who they work for. They don't love the idea of having a career forever because they're very insecure and uncertain that that career is going to be there for them at all. And there's really good reason for that. The economy is tighter than it's ever been, or not ever been, but been in recent history. The amount of consumer uncertainty, whether people report it or not, is at a record high. You talk to anyone and it's like people are fearful, people are uncertain. And this is now contributing to, the phrase du jour, which is, job hugging. And I think job hugging is as dangerous as quiet quitting. It's a little bit less aggressive. It's a lot less out there, but the fact of it remains the same, which is you're just hanging on to something. You hate it. You don't love it. It's not fulfilling to you. It doesn't make you happy. It's not getting you to the next place, but you're hanging on to it, not because you love it so much or because it's going to take you to a new version of you. You're hanging on to it because you're afraid you're going to lose it and there's going to be nothing left for you. So it's a fear-based strategy. It's a fear mentality of it doesn't believe if not this, then something better. It's like, if not this, then oh shit. And I think the biggest thing in both quiet quitting and job hugging is that I would take a step back. And I think one of the biggest challenges is being in a job, everybody's selfish, right? You're in your job for you. You want to make money. You need to pay your rent or your mortgage. You want to be able to eat what you want, go where you want, see who you want, wear what you want, do what you want, and you need money to do that. And the reality is your job is the gateway to that. And so let's just put that as the fact. But I think the second piece on top of that is, and I wrote this in the book and I really, really believe it, is that work is tuition you get paid for, and that every job you have can bring you someplace new or give you something you don't have. And it may be extremely trying and it may be extremely stressful, or it could be crazy, or it could be chaotic, or your boss is a total dick. Like all those things are true, but having the mindset when you get into work that you are going to make something of this and make the most of it and be the best you possibly can at it. My whole thing on that is you got to be there anyways. If you got to show up at 9:00 anyways, you might as well show up at 9:00 with a good attitude that you're going to come out of it with something you didn't have before. And that's what I don't love about job hugging. I'm a job hugger. I've always been afraid to be without a job. I'm 100% a job hugger. I like to work. I want to work. I want 15 jobs at once. If I could have 5 jobs right now, I would. Right now, I'm dying to be the commissioner of the WNBA. I just want to manifest it into the world. I'm like, what a shit show. I'd like that job. But I'm job hugging my job right now. Not because I'm afraid to lose it, which is, let's be honest, a reality. Anybody can lose their job at any point in time. And very often for nothing you actually had to do. It has for circumstances that are totally beyond your control. But the way I choose to look at it and the way I would love people to look at it, because I think it would make you happier, is to be in a job, make the most of the job, take away as much as you possibly can from the job, give as much as you possibly can to the job, and become someone new because of the job. And I personally believe so strongly that it does not matter if you work at Google, you work at a gift shop, you work at someplace fabulous, you work at the rinky-dink worst run company ever. All those things are always inherently and fundamentally true, and they're fundamentally true of any experience you put yourself into. So if you're in your 20s listening to this, or in your 30s, or in your 40s, or even in your 50s, and you're like hanging on, don't quit hanging on, but change your mindset into hang on and get something great out of this, and have this experience be able to take you to that next place. And don't put your head down in fear. Pick your head up and put your eyes to where they are. Like in the quiet quitting place, everyone was like, you know what, like, fuck you to my boss, and I'm going to look around for the next best thing. Now the next best thing doesn't exist, so you can't say fuck you to your boss, but you can put your eyes to something. And if you put your eyes to making the most of where you are, and the most of what you have to become someone new, something incredible can come from that. One of the things about job hugging, and just one of the things about the world we're living in right now, is the control is in a different place than it was 24 months ago. You see that, you look at what happened in the military, like 800 of the world's top generals get summoned to Quantico to hear what the new standard is. Like, that would not have happened 12 months ago. It wouldn't have happened 24 months ago. Irrespective of if it's good or bad, or you like it or you hate it, or you think people in the military need to be fit or men or groomed or whatnot, the net is that the power sits in a different place now. And this is especially true at work. So if you think about the generals, they're employed by our government, the power is held very differently right now in the government. If you look at employers, the power now sits with the employer, not with the employee. And that's where, when the economy is great and everyone is hiring and there's a lot of jobs and there's boundless opportunity and things are roaring, of course you get, antsy in your seat and loose in your seat, and you start to look around and look up and feel cocky about it. When those things don't exist, you start to feel afraid. And it's without a doubt that the power is back with the employer. I think the other piece of this is people need to buckle up, that employers are going to go back to what's best for the employer. That's probably at work, right? That's probably less remote work. That's probably more time in your job before you get promoted. That's probably less liberal raises and title change. That's probably less mobility, less hiring. So all those things are facts. And I think one of the challenges right now at work is like quiet hugging. Job hugging is a little bit like, it's fear-based, certainly, but it's also like sheltering. It's like getting small, and it's also taking no risk. And the reality is, when a company is looking at fewer people, fewer resources, less margin, fewer sources of income, they start to look more at who are their super performers, right? Who are their superpowers within the company? Who are the people who can do the most? They do it flawlessly. They do it consistently. They do it pleasantly. They do it collaboratively. Like, those are the people who are going to thrive in organizations which are less, and where the employer is more, unequivocally in control. A lot of times when the economy is good, because an employer doesn't want to lose someone, random people get promoted, or there's off-cycle raises, or stuff happens more haphazardly or chaotically or opportunistically. When things are tight, it's more regimented. You have to work longer. You got to go farther. You got to work harder. You've got to wait. And waiting is a very difficult skill right now. And my point on this is while you wait, make something great happen for yourself because it's good for yourself. And thinking and changing this hugging mentality of like, don't leave me, I don't want to lose you, or I do want to lose you, but I can't. Turn that into, I'm waiting here anyways. There's not something better around the corner. What can I do with this time that makes it the most for me? All right, so that was net. I hope you enjoyed my take on job hugging, quiet quitting, making the most of the waiting game. You can find the Work Podcast everywhere. You can find it on Substack, which is our new home base. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. Sometimes I post cat pics. You can find Work Like a Girl on Slack, which is our community of professional women. And we will see you back here for Underlined. We'll see you back here for What She Said, which is our take on women at work. We'll see you back here for more nets. And we'll see you back here for Conversations.